Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our next product showcase. I'm delighted to welcome Megan and Matt from OpenApply, who are here to talk to you about an agile admissions process. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Megan to start. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm actually going to let Matt take the floor firstly, though.
It's the problem with having two of us. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt. Megan's here as well. Meg's here we're both from the team at OpenApply. I like how I put solutions consultant there, but actually I'm one of the sales managers here at OpenApply, and likewise my colleague Meg is one of our solutions consultants. The core of what we're going to be doing as part of this overview, this spotlight, is just providing a little bit of context about what OpenApply does. We will try and save some Q&A for the end, so we will be watching the chat. I'll keep an eye and I can compare that and send it over to Megan. But in terms of just like a quick run through of wider company as well as what we do on the OpenApply side, at OpenApply, I would say we are very much the admissions nerds here. But as part of FARIA Education, the FARIA Education group, we fit into a number of different areas. OpenApply is one of our products. The other is more focused on learning management with ManageBack. If any of your schools have the IB or maybe the diploma program offering that, they might already be using ManageBack. Similarly as well with systems like Atlas Next, another curriculum tool, and Schools Buddy, which is more about school to home, connecting things like parent-teacher conferences, ECAs, after-school activities, and communication too. We work with over 10,000 schools across the entire product range. OpenApply specifically, closer to around about 600. But in terms of what OpenApply is, essentially what we're trying to do with OpenApply is create a connected admissions experience. Meg's going to be diving into it in more detail. We can run through a little bit of our OpenApply demonstration accounts, but essentially it's about connecting all these main admissions touch points in a nice streamlined journey from the parent's perspective. So without further ado from my side, I'm going to stop my share and we can actually go in and see Megan's. Although saying that, did I just talk through all that on one specific slide?
Yes, but that's fine. We can power through.
Thanks, Meg.
Matt.
Ultimately, the slides will also be available to download, so I'll stop my share and transition on. I didn't press play.
Hi, everybody. Like Matt said, I'm a solutions consultant here at OpenApply, and I'm going to be taking a little demo through our account and kind of showing you the key features of what we do. OpenApply in itself is a platform with two distinct sides. You have your parental dashboard where parents can have full autonomy of their admissions journey and really take the lead. And then you have the admin side where all the stuff that families do feeds directly into that. So I've just brought up here our demo account. This is our fictitious school, FARIA International School. And this is kind of the main landing page that parents will have their first interaction with the admissions journey of your school. This is all completely customizable, this page. As you can see here, we've got pictures of this campus. You've got sort of the map location. And just to kind of show you as a comparison, we have our FARIA College account, which is designed to look more like a UK school, and some of the languages surrounding that as well is different. So you are able to sort of customize all these things to kind of fit your school and your journey. So if we're just looking at this, this landing page, you'll see here we have 4 main points of data capture and data entry. You've got your registration of interest, your scheduling tool, submitting the actual application, and open days. Again, customizable. You might not want the application to be able to submit that straight away. You might want to save that later on, completely up to you. If I just load up one of our forms then, which is kind of the crux of what OpenApply is, as you see, a very standard form, but with lots of smart logic embedded into it. We have conditional logic. So for example, for this, if I click anything other than English as a first language, a second language option will come up. We also have a date of birth calculator, which we find is really useful for schools if you've got very distinct points of sort of where pupils can join year groups. If you select a date of birth, if I just could bring one up, a year that they're joining, it will actually recommend that year, the year group that they want to join. You can have this recommended, or you can actually have it locked depending on what you prefer. We also have custom fields, so you can add in your own custom fields, and you can actually, everything here is tracked by analytics, which is really useful. For example, here, one of our custom fields is a referral source. You know, if you're wondering where have this family come from, where have they got your school's information from? As soon as a family fill this out, you will be automatically notified in the admin side, as well as it will ask the family to verify email addresses, and they'll be prompted to begin their journey and look at their parent dashboard, which we're just going to have a little look at now. So that's loading. So here we have our father, Thomas Applebaum, and as you can see, he has 4 children, all in slightly different processes of the application of the admissions journey. Rachel and Chloe are already at the school, and Samuel has applied, and Henry is pending. So if a family have more than one child applying, you don't need separate accounts. They can all just be under one account. You can see any upcoming events they have for open days, interviews, that kind of thing. And if I just go now into the checklist items. So here we can see that application checklist is just kind of what the parent and the family need to do in order to process their child's admissions journey. You can see that Samuel here has already submitted his application and scheduled an interview, but he still has outstanding checklist items that he needs to do, the family needs to do. As soon as they do this, you'll be notified in the admin side, and actually you can prompt if parents for whatever reason haven't done things, you can actually notify them and sort of nudge them on to do these things too. Great. So that is the parent dashboard, and as you can see, it's a really good way of parents taking their own lead. It's improving transparency between families and the admissions team, and just making sure that they feel like they're really getting the most of the admissions journey. If I now just switch over to our admin side, here we have Sharon, and this is the main admin dashboard. You'll see here everything that's happening in the admissions office that day, numbers of inquiries, applicants, and you'll have a calendar. If I click onto it, you can see we have a tour booked for that day and an interview booked. And actually you can just click through to that student and that will bring up that student profile. So you have that all really easy to in a connected way. Latest activity here is also really good. You can see what is happening. It's like a live feed of everything that families are doing with their students and their journeys, as well as any other members of staff. And you can actually filter by these. A really good one that we suggest is attachment, what families have sent documents over the weekend. Great. So now if I just go into our applicant roster, and what this is, I essentially describe it as a Excel spreadsheet with very smart logic. You'll be able to see we have a list of all the students applying for any given academic year and all that sort of key information. And what we actually offer is a very robust set of filtering. So you can get a really specific list of students for whatever purpose. So let's say, for example, I wanted to select all primary students who had applied. I'd be able to instantaneously filter for this, and that would actually bring up all those students, which is very useful. What you can do then, actually, say if I wanted to send a message to all of these students for whatever reason, is I could select all, send message, new message, and that would bring up a rich text editor, which you can make even more personalized and bespoke by legend of values, mail mergers, really creating a personalized message to a specific cohort of students. If I just go back to the applicant roster, you'll also see these fun, colorful tags, and that also is a really good way if certain students have a slightly different admissions process to the norm. Say if they were a border, EL, SEN, you can actually have the checklist, the registration form, say if they click yes, I need EAL, that you can have that then linked to this, which will tag them, so you know that that child has a slightly different admissions journey to other students. Another really good feature is on this, you can actually filter by incomplete checklist items. So I can select this, filter results, and that will bring up all those students that have outstanding passports, health forms, application forms. You can simply select or send checklist reminders, and that's a really good way, just eliminating that manual process of having to go through your emails, revert to an Excel spreadsheet. It's all here and easy to do at a click of a button. Great. If I now show you our student profile, if I bring up our student Samuel, this is kind of where all that information collates. So you can see here all Samuel's key information as well. They have latest activity on a per student basis too. So you can actually map his journey from point of first inquiry all the way up to him being actually enrolled in the school. Other things you can do you can set tasks for example, other members of staff. Say you needed him to be reviewed by the Senko coordinator, you would be able to do that here, assign someone to the task, set a date, attach a file. Really easy to do. You can also see how you can see the checklist items from the parent side here, and say for whatever reason they handed a checklist one of these things in person, you could just simply tick that off. So it's just a really good way of having a personalized experience with that applicant. And then I guess how this all kind of feeds in is our analytics section, where you'll be able to see, for example, conversion funnels, a really good one that I often show. You can kind of see where everyone is in their admissions journey, where they pending, applied, things like that. And also you can have ones more specific like checklist items as well. So that's kind of just an overview of OpenApply and kind of the core things that it does. Also as well, a really good feature is we do actually deal with admissions related payments. Parents can pay the application fee, registration fee through the platform too, which is really useful. I think in terms of the core things that it offers, I'm about done. Matt, was there anything else that you...
I was waiting for you to finish off, Meg, but no, I think that's a good run through. Obviously, we can only fit so much in like 15 minutes. It's probably worth thinking about just how we approach it. We generally take a consultative approach. Like, there's not one best approach that fits all schools. Like, what are your forms? As Meg was talking about earlier, for those initial accounts, we usually ask schools for their forms, build them in, and generally we'd say, oh, so-and-so has done this, so-and-so has done this. Maybe consider doing it like this as a good way of getting clean data at the end of the process. Ultimately, what we are trying to do is essentially connect it all into a streamlined journey for the parent, but also one that is allowing for more personalization to happen through all those individual steps. I'm going to take the screen share now back, Meg.
Of course.
It's worth also mentioning about that enhanced personalization bit. I think I'm actually sharing the wrong screen. Wow, I work in IT, definitely. Now I'm having a bad day, apologies everyone. But one thing that we've actually expanded over the past year or so is an expansion of OpenApply called the CRM module. I tend to describe it as including advanced features that very much lean into marketing and building more context at the top of funnel level. So pre-inquiries, having more engagement with those inquiries, arranging notifications based on specific criteria being met. For example, that could be as simple as a form being submitted, a checklist item being done, or actually someone reaching out via a newsletter and you want to treat them as a pre-inquiry and nudge them to the inquiry. So that's what we've done with the CRM module. It adds in a whole lot of advanced features. There is some information in the slide as well, but of course there's a lot to include in the space of 15 minutes anyway. Beyond that, in terms of other things to think about, we have put a little resource pack together. They will be available under the platform itself, but we've got some case studies in there. So this will also be available to download at some point. Similarly as well, a whole host of additional resources, including the International Admissions Bulletin, which I can't go on harping about. It's written for and by admissions teams and edited by specific admissions specialists. So they would always just providing insight into it. I believe this most recent one's on identity. So very much worth getting. It'll also be in the resources too. In terms of general feedback, I'd argue a lot of what we try to do is save time so that focuses on elsewhere can be made, enhance efficiency and so on. And I'm just got up there a number of schools, some contact details, they'll also be available there. I've also seen a handful of questions come in, so I can try and whistle through those or run through them in the space of a minute. Do forms allow for digital signature? Yes, we do have a signature field. It's not quite a flowery script, as in like Adobe EchoSign, but we do have a signature field. Does the system manage waiting lists and sibling connections? Yeah, data is effectively connected by students, so parents have a shared account. Meanwhile, there is also a waiting list status too, so you can effectively manage them and go through there. I appreciate we're kind of at time. There is another question though as well. So we might be out of time, Tori. If not, I can just answer the question. How do parents complete the inquiry form via the school's website? Interestingly, you can actually embed the inquiry form. A lot of schools will have that as data capture, going straight through, connecting up from the parent experience from a school's website. That data then flows directly into the school's OpenApply account, and from there, parents can just be redirected back there to get everything done into a personalized parent portal. That's how it works.
Matt, thank you very much indeed for that. We have a few questions actually. Would you mind answering? Can Megan come back on and maybe you could just answer a few of these quick questions? It might help.
Sure, I've tried to blast through as many as I can. I noticed that Maria just sent one through as well. Okay,
so shall I kick off with a couple of these questions then? Is it recommended, do you recommend OpenApply for smaller schools of under 300 pupils?
Ultimately, we work with schools that are tiny, we work with schools that are huge. It just depends on what you want for your admissions journey. The time savings are still there. Forms are still an issue. So we have schools that are under 100 students and we have schools that are over 4,000. So it's the full gamut of sizes.
And just to kind of add to that as well, we often find with smaller schools that perhaps there's just one person doing absolutely everything. So actually a system like this can really help them just manage that time better, like Matt said.
Thank you. Another question here, quick question. Do forms allow for a digital signature?
Yes, they do. We have a digital signature field, but it's not as part of like Adobe EchoSign or any other signature software. It's primarily as a signature field with a date, time, tracking, and allowing parents to do it so you can see it has been signed.
Thank you. And another question, does the system manage waiting lists and sibling connections?
It does. Yeah. So for managing the waiting list, there's a status for it, and data is all connected to a student, and parents all see all their children in their one account.
Great, thank you. And how do parents complete the inquiry form via a school's website? Do they have to click on a link on a page and set up an account, or do you embed the inquiry form on the school site?
Right.
So yeah, we can completely up to the school. We can embed forms on the website, or you can open up a new hyperlink. As Matt said, we take a very consultative approach. We kind of look at what you currently offer at your admissions journey, and we try and map that the best we can. So completely up to you.
Thank you. One question here, can it be integrated with ISAMS?
Yes, we do have an ISAMS integration. So yeah, that's definitely, it's a free integration too.
Right, thank you. Those questions just came in quite thick and fast, and I thought I might as well. There might be questions that people
answer them twice, but reinforced it.
To everybody who's listening and in on this product showcase, you can see all the details there of how to get in touch with Megan. Thank you very much indeed to Megan and Matt. Please do get in touch with them if you want to get more information. But great product showcase, lots to think about. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Tori, and thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.